Imagine going on a jungle adventure and finding a huge head made of stone, as if some giant's head fell off and got stoned. Sounds quite unrealistic, right? But let me tell you, this has happened in real life, and a huge stone head was discovered deep in the jungles of Guatemala. So in today's video, we unveil the mystery and answer all the questions surrounding this mystical artifact from the Mayan Empire. Make sure to watch till the end so you don't miss out on any details. Discovery. In the dark depths of the Guatemalan rainforest, a colossal stone head lay hidden for centuries. The face bore delicate features, slender lips and a prominent nose, and it gazed upwards at the heavens. But what was most striking about the face was that it looked nothing like the ancient inhabitants of the Americas. It had a distinctly Caucasian appearance that defied all logic and history. The head was a stunning discovery that sparked a wave of curiosity and speculation, but soon it vanished from the public eye and became a lost relic of a forgotten past. The only clue to its existence was a faded photograph that reached the hands of Dr. Oscar Rafael Padilla Lara, a scholar and lawyer, in 1987. The photo was taken in the 1950s by the landowner who stumbled upon the head, and it came with a vague note that said it was located somewhere in the jungles of Guatemala. The statue had an unusually long and narrow skull and delicate facial features that seemed to contradict the established historical records. Some researchers proposed that the statue represented a member of an ancient alien civilization that had advanced technological and intellectual capabilities beyond any pre-Hispanic cultures of America that we're familiar with. They even speculated that the head might just be the tip of the iceberg, and that there could be a larger structure or artifact hidden beneath the surface of the ground. However, this hypothesis was later disproved by further investigations. The hype. The discovery of a mysterious stone head in La Democracia, located in the south of Guatemala, generated a lot of interest after it was featured in a small article in the newsletter Ancient Skies. David Hatcher Childress, a well-known explorer and author, stumbled upon the story and decided to learn more about the intriguing artifact. He contacted Dr. Padilla, who had initially found the owners of the property where the monolith was discovered. According to Padilla, when he finally reached the site, he was devastated to find that it had been destroyed by revolutionaries about a decade earlier. The statue had been used as target practice, which had completely disfigured it, resulting in the loss of the eyes, nose, and mouth. Despite the damage, Padilla was able to measure its height at between 4 and 6 meters, with the head resting on a neck. Regrettably, due to armed conflicts between government forces and rebel groups in the area, Padilla was unable to return to the site. The destruction. The head had suffered considerable damage, and for some time it went unnoticed. However, it gained public attention when it was featured in a film titled Revelations of the Mayans 2012 and Beyond. The filmmakers utilized a photograph of the damaged head to support the theory that extraterrestrial beings had visited and interacted with ancient civilizations. The film's producer presented a paper written by Guatemalan archaeologist Hector E. Mejia, who claimed that the head's construction did not conform to any known Mayan, Nahuatl, or Olmec techniques. As a result, he suggested that the sculpture was likely created by an unknown and highly advanced alien civilization. The report. But the movie didn't help at all to solve the mystery of the big head. It only made things worse by making people doubt the whole story. They thought it was just a trick to get people to watch the movie. Some people even said the paper was a fake. But it looks like the big head was real, and there is nothing to show that the photo or Dr. Padilla's story was a lie. So if it was real, we still have a lot of questions. Where did it come from? Who made it? And why did they make it? The place where they said they found the big head, La Democracia, is already a place where people know about other big heads that also look up at the sky. These were made by an old people called the Olmec, who lived a long time ago. The Olmec lived near the Gulf of Mexico, but they also left their stuff in other places far away, like La Democracia. Maybe they had something to do with the big head in the jungle, or maybe not. Maybe it was someone else who made it. Someone we don't know anything about. Someone who had a secret reason for making it. Hearing. So it looks like the huge head was actually real, and nobody can prove that the first photo was fake or that Dr. Padilla was lying. That's pretty cool, right? But then we have to wonder, where did it come from? Who made it? And why? You know, the place where they found the stone head, La Democracia, is already famous for having other stone heads that also look up at the sky. They were made by the Olmec people, who lived a long time ago, between 1600 and 400 BC. The Olmec people most likely lived near the Gulf of Mexico, but they also left some of their stuff in other places far away from their home, like La Democracia. Nevertheless, the stone head depicted in the 1950s photograph, taken in 1952, does not share the same features or style as the Olmec heads. The late Philip Coppens, born in 1971 and died in 2012, Belgian author, radio host, and TV commentator on matters of alternative history, raised the question of whether the head is an anomaly of the Olmec period, or whether it is part of another unknown culture that predated or postdated the Olmecs, and whose only artifact identified so far is the Padilla head. Olmecs. Let's find some more details out about the Olmec culture. They were one of the first and most important civilizations in ancient America. They lived in a warm and humid area of Mexico, close to the Gulf of Mexico, for about 1,200 years. They started around 1600 BCE and ended around 400 BCE. One of the coolest things they left behind is their giant stone heads. These heads are so big and heavy that we don't know how they move them around. Some people think they're pictures of their kings or their ancestors. They also made amazing things out of jade, a green stone that was very precious to them. They carved it into masks, jewelry, and figurines. They also made pots, statues, and other artworks. They were very good at using rubber, which they got from the juice of some trees. They used rubber to make balls for a special game they played. The game was like a mix of soccer and basketball. They had to bounce a rubber ball through a ring without using their hands or feet. It was a very hard game, but also very fun and sacred. The Olmec people had a big impact on many other cultures that came before them, like the Maya and the Aztec. These cultures looked up to the Olmec and copied some of their art and religion. The Olmec were truly amazing, and we can learn a lot from them. Questions. Was the structure just a head, or was there a body underneath like the Easter Island statues? Well, no one really knows for sure, but some people think that there might have been a body buried under the head. There is a photo from 1950 that shows a small mound of earth in front of the head, which could indicate a buried torso. However, there's no evidence that anyone ever excavated the site to find out, so it's possible that the head was part of a larger statue, or maybe it was just a head. Is the stone head linked to any other structures in the region? Again, this is hard to say, as the stone head was destroyed by vandals in the 1960s, and no one knows where it came from or who made it. Some people think it might have been part of a lost city or temple that was hidden in the jungle, but there's no proof of that. Others think that it might have been a tribute to a foreign ruler or deity, since it doesn't look like typical Mayan art, but there's no record of any such contact or influence, so it's possible the stone head is linked to other structures, or maybe it was just a standalone monument. Well, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed hearing about this mysterious and intriguing monument that has baffled and fascinated many people for decades. Maybe one day we will find out the real truth behind its origin, purpose, and meaning, or maybe it will remain a mystery forever, like the smile of the Mona Lisa or the identity of Jack the Ripper. Either way, it's a fascinating piece of history that deserves our attention and respect. And who knows, maybe there are more hidden treasures waiting to be discovered in the jungles of Guatemala. Maybe even a whole lost city or civilization. Wouldn't that be awesome?